Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, well, sir.
Very good. So,
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
wa alaikum assalam. Welcome. MashaAllah, everybody is coming. Okay.
Yes,
We
sir.
very good, very good. So, today I thought I would like teach you this conjunctions, but some students they asked me question about yesterday's lecture. So we'll be talking about verb today as well. Okay.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
do you have any questions, whatever we studied yesterday? Or I sent you this lecture as well. Did you read it?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Can you see my screen? I've shared my screen with you guys, this
Yes,
file.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Another thing is that I want to know when you have exams, so then accordingly we study this course because there are a lot of other things that we have to cover. It's a very lengthy kind of a course. Um, so if we go in detail, we won't be able to cover it. Like I was told that you have exams on 15th August. Is it true?
We don't know, sir.
We don't know.
Sir, I don't think so that our exams are from $15 because our other teachers are also taking their class so detailed, in a so
Okay.
detailed manner. Is our teacher or English their teacher who is taking the right detailed class.
Okay, fine. We will ask from Sir Gulzar, so we'll have a better idea then. I thought you guys knew it. That's why I asked you.
No, sir, we don't know.
Okay, do you guys have any question about yesterday's lecture? Did you understand it? We talked about verb and tenses. So,
Yes, sir.
so do you have any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Sir, kindly explain the state sentences.
Now, okay, state sentences, as the name tells us, that it doesn't have any action. Now, if you see this example, there are these six examples. Number one is I'm happy. Okay. Now, it
Yes, sir.
doesn't like I is not performing any action. It's a state tense because it tells us the state that I am happy. Or, for example, in the past tense, we don't. Here, the main verb is not action verb. See, I is not performing anything. We are just telling something about this I. Okay, so it's not a. If I say I play cricket, that can be a state verb. If I say I write, that can be a state verb. Or for example, if I say I walk, so again, walk is an action, play is an action, write is an action. And then there are these state verbs. In English, there is only one state verb, and that is or be or was or were, or the third form is been. So in the second tense, we have the main verb is was. And yesterday I told you that the structure is subject plus state verb, and then we will always have adjectives or noun. Like for example, he is a teacher. So I'm talking about him, that he's a teacher. I'm not telling you what he does. So there is no action in the tense. So state sentences are very simple. You already know it. You may not know this
Excuse me, sir.
perfect sense. So whenever we want to mention the time, and now in perfect tense, we know that we use third form of the verb. So here, the third form of am is been. If you see in the past perfect, we use third form of the verb. So been here is the main verb. And in the future perfect, again, we have this third form of the verb. Huh?
Sir,
Yes?
in state sentences, it is necessary that the verb will be always the auxiliary verb because in
Yes.
all these sentences it's the auxiliary verb.
No, no. Yesterday, no. I have written a few example. It is also working as a state verb. For example, I feel happy. Now you see this. Now the most important thing is that if you can make a structure out of a sentence, and then you will be able to understand it. For example, if you see, I wrote this sentence. Now it is working like an auxiliary verb or a connective verb. It connects this adjective. So if you see, this is an adjective
Yes, sir.
and this is a verb. Feel is a verb. So this feel verb is also working as a auxiliary verb. Don't you see it? Because
Yes, sir.
after verb, we always use action verbs. We always use object.
Adverbs.
Okay. But here, if you see, we have used this happy. Happy is an adjective and feel. So if you want to put auxiliary verb here, it will give you the same meaning. I am happy, or I feel happy, or I look happy. So all these senses word, five senses word, like for example, if you see, there is this uh, feel happy, he seems sad, or he is sad, this seem, look, smell, or sound, or taste. Now, if you know this adverb, now we always have adverb after verb as well. Like, for example, he plays beautifully, but I can say he looks beautiful. Now, after these helping verbs, we will not have adverb, we will have adjective. So that's the difference between these state verbs. Do you
Okay,
understand?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, because after action verbs, we
Sir,
can
can you
have
please repeat it again?
G.
Can you please repeat it again? I just joined.
Okay, okay, okay. Now he asked me that what is like this state verb. Now state verb is when you're not performing any action. Like yesterday we talked about these action verbs. There are like millions, uh, like play or read or write or fight or walk or run. But then we have this one state verb that is am or is or was or will be. Now, if you see these sentences, like the first one, I'm happy. Now, this is a state verb. I is the state verb. Or the second form, this is the main verb. Remember this, I is the main verb. Now, here we have second form. We already know that in the simple past tense, we always have second form of the verb. So am is the first form and second form is was. We already know it. And then there is am, was, or been, a helping verb. That is totally different. In continuous tense, we use it. I am playing cricket. There, am is a helping verb, while here it is a main verb. And in the third form, in the perfect tense, we use third form of the verb. So here the third form is of third form is been. This is the third form. This is the main verb and the third form. And what I just said is that he asked me another question. So all these verbs that I've written, this feel or seem or look or smell or sound or taste, these all are also working as linking verbs. Like for example, if I say he seems sad. Now, if you want to write the structure of this tense, is the subject, seem is the verb, and sad is what? What is sad?
Adjective.
Adjective. So with action verbs, we cannot put adjective. We put adverb with it. But here, if you see that the state verbs can take adjectives, like for example, he seems sad, or he seems happy, or he looks handsome, or he looks smart, or he looks well. But I will say he plays well, not he plays good, because good is an adjective and well is a adverb. Do you understand? Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
now, okay. Now that who asked me that? I just joined in and I didn't
It's
understand.
clear now. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So, okay, fine. And yesterday we like we were in hurry, we didn't have time, so I quickly explained this order. Now we already did it in the tenses. Now if you see, we have like five or A, B, C, D, E, or F different kind of sentence structure. So we'll be studying it in detail later this after this. But if you see, these are modal verbs. Now this is one kind of a sentence structure. This is another kind. If you see, number one is it might rain. So might is the modal verb. Or for example, she has arrived. Now that is the perfect tense. We have already done that in the tenses, the action tenses. Or for example, if you see, they were working. So this is a progressive verb, the ing form of the verb. Or if you see this D, Jamie had been looking. This is a perfect continuous tense and a progressive as well. And if you see this E, it might have been used. What type of a tense it is? It might have been used. Can anybody tell me?
Is in perfect continuous.
No, no.
No,
This,
no.
it's a passive.
It's the
Remember. Now this, we mostly students like get confused because been is used in a perfect continuous tense. But remember, after been, when we have a progressive verb or ing form of the verb or a gerund form, that is called a perfect
continuous
continuous.
one.
But
Yes.
if after been we have a third form of the verb, like used is a third form, right? Now it's a passive form of the verb. So it's not a perfect continuous, it's a passive sentence. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
And if you see this F type of sentence, like we may have been being followed. Do you think it's the correct one?
Uh, no, sir, because being and being both are used.
Now,
Yes, sir.
yes, yes, it can be some, it is right. It is a correct sentence, but it is very rare. I mean, people do not use it because if you see, if you read it, it sounds like very awkward. We may have been being followed. So this is again, this is a very rare kind of a sentence. We don't use it. It is, for example, a perfect continuous passive sentence. So this kind of structure is very rare. That's why in schools we are told that we cannot change present perfect continuous into passive, but the right way is to change it in this way. There are people that they have been using it in this way, but it is quite like very, very, very rare. Is it clear?
Sir, yes, sir. Sir,
uh,
the E sentence, sir,
yes,
it's passive you stated, but like which tense it is in? Like it's passive, but whether it is
very good. Okay, okay, I'll tell you. Now we will study this in after this chart. Like after this, I will explain it why. But it is a model tense. Remember, might is a
Use
Modal
a
verbs.
modal verb.
Yes. So modal verbs, we do not have all the tenses for it. Like we don't have a continuous tense or a perfect tense or a past tense or a future tense. Now, might can be a present tense. We can use it for the present. We can use it for future as well. So we cannot say which type of tense it is. We can only say a present tense or a past tense. So I might go is a present tense or a future tense. Or if I say I might have gone, it gives us a past aspect. Do you
Yes,
understand?
बिल्कुल sir.
But we do not have all the tenses for modal verbs. Like, for example, if I say I can play cricket or I could play cricket, both these sentences are the same. Remember, can or could is not used for the past tense. But for the past tense, we can use I could have played yesterday. I could have helped you yesterday. That could be the past. So can and could is the same thing. It is used for the same time. So we don't have a continuous tense
So it
for,
means, sir, the modal verbs are the reckless bohemians. They don't follow the other tenses.
yes, exactly. So we will learn it in a different, yes, of course, you are right. So we'll do it like this, that we have action tenses, and that is 12 tenses. Then we have state tenses, that is 6 tenses. So if you combine those, it makes 18 tenses. So all 18 tenses are about the tense. It tells us which kind of a tense they follow. And then we have these modal verbs. Now look at these modal verbs. Do you see it on your screen? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now you look at these modal sentences. In modal sentences, we can have action sentences and again a state sentences. So number one, if you see, I can come by car. Now this is possibility and that I can do that. And if you see the action this is the action sentence and this is the state sentence. I can be rich. So here, if you see, this be is a be verb, like be or is or are or am, and then we have second form is was. Now it is always confusing. People get confused because they think that it is like action verb, but the problem here is that we have three forms of state verb, or here we can have action verbs like, for example, come. So it's just a one verb, first form of the verb, one form. Or for he or she, we use comes. He comes, he can come. But again, after modal verbs, we don't have this different forms of verb. We cannot say I can, he can comes. No, it will not change. So we can also say that it is not like we don't change the verb here. We don't play with the verb. The modal verbs, we can change it. For example, in the next sentence, if you see, that cannot happen. Now, it gives us another meaning. It is impossible. Like if something happens which you do not believe that it could happen, you say that cannot happen. Or if the third sentence, if you see, he can speak many languages, or that shows ability. And if on the right side, the state sentence, if you see, she can be fluent in many languages. So it gives you the same kind of meaning. So you can say the same sentence in the action form or in the state form. Do you understand? And if you
Yes,
see
sir.
this, another one, the fifth one is could I come in? And when you ask it, like you ask, it's a question sentence. Again, it changes the whole meaning. Like for permission, we can use it. For request, we can use it. Now, for example, can I come in or could I come in? Both tells you about the present tense. But again, there is a difference. One is asking for permission, while the other is used for request. So if you want to go to your boss office, you say, could I come in? Or if you want to go to your friend's room, you say, can I come in? So there are different usage. Otherwise, both gives you the same tense, the same timing. Or for example, you could eat tonight. Now that is not a permission, that is not possibility, that is not impossibility or ability. It is a suggestion that I'm telling you that you should go, and it would be better if you go and eat tonight. So you can use it for suggestion. So if you see all these tenses, uh, can and could is used for different purposes. So can and could have different meaning in different sentences. It can be used in a different way. Okay, for example, if look at the ninth tense, it may rain. So when you are not sure about the present or the future, you say, it may rain. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure that it will rain or not. So I'll say, it may rain. Or it might rain is again the same. There may be a slight difference, but again, like what I tell my students, what I have understood is that may can be used when you are not certain, and might can be like may can be used if you are like, for example, 90% sure that it will rain, so you say it may rain. But if you are only 50% sure, you say it might rain. But again, it is used for the present or the future. Or if you want, if just you change it into interrogative, may I come in? So it totally changes the meaning. It means permission. Or for example, you may go. It's give permission to somebody. It again, like in the imperative sentences, it changes again the meaning. Or students may not wear jeans. So if you want to like refuse permission in a formal way, you say students may not wear jeans. In a formal way, when you want to refuse somebody, you can use this may as well. It might rain. See, I just use this sentence. So it might rain or it may rain tells you about the same tense, the present and the future. So if you want to say it in the past, how would you say it? Look at the 14 tense. It might have rained yesterday. Like, for example, yesterday it did not rain. And I tell you that it might have rained. हो सकता था कि बारिश हो जाती. So again, if you want to use it as a past, then we can add this have and third form of the verb. So if you remember this, yesterday we studied, nobody asked me a question. If you don't ask me questions, I will not explain it, remember. Like, for example, what is the difference between present tense or past tense? Can anybody tell me? Hmm? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Like for,
Sir, the basic
let me write it first. I watched. Which tense is it?
past tense.
Which
Simple
Past
past?
past.
definite. Past
Which?
definite.
Very good. And
Simple
I have watched.
present perfect.
Very good. So what is the
Present
difference?
perfect
What
tense.
is the difference? Can anybody tell me what is the difference?
The
The
difference is that
sentence
That one is past perfect, simple past, and the other one is past perfect,
hello.
present perfect.
In present perfect, we
Uh-huh.
have watched the movie or something in the past,
Yeah.
but we still remember it. And in simple past tense, the action was started in the past and it ended in the past as well.
No,
And we
no,
might
no,
not
no, no, no,
remember
no,
it now.
no, 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 no. Let me tell you. Now remember, if something is perfect, it means that it is a past tense. So both these tenses are past. Remember, it is both gives you the past meaning. Both actions are done. Now, I watched the movie, that is a pure past tense. But if I say I have watched the movie, Now it gives us a past tense, but it is a present perfect. So here I can use, I watched movie yesterday. But here I cannot use yesterday. Why? Because it is a present tense. I cannot use it, right? Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Like, for example, I'll give you another example very quickly. I did matric in 2001. I can also say I have done matric, but here I will not say I have done matric in 2008. Otherwise, both gives you the same meaning, that the action took place in the past. I did matric in 2001. I have done matric. Both gives you the past sense, but one is present perfect, so we cannot use past time with present perfect. Otherwise, it's the same thing. So perfect and past tense is the same, remember. The only difference is with one we can use past time or past adverb, but with another we cannot use it. The only difference is that. So if something is perfect, it means that it is past. It is like it is already done. So if you see, it might have rained means we are talking about past. Or for example, another modal verbs can be must, you must, she must go, or you must go, or you must not eat. And another thing is that we can have all these state tenses for a modal verb. If you see the state tense, I'm not reading it, but you should go and read it and make other tenses like this. Now, another thing is that we are doing it in a prescriptive way as well. Now, if you don't understand this, you go and write almost 30 sentences with this have, might have. If you are unable to speak it, if you are unable to write these kind of sentences, you must go and practice it. So like, for example, if you write 5 or 6 sentences, you will be able to understand. But if you make like hundreds of sentences, then you will be able to use it in your spoken language. Like, for example, it might have rained yesterday, or for example, I might have come to your place yesterday if you had invited me. That is the conditional tense. Otherwise, you won't be able to speak it. So you need to practice it. So if you find a tense which you think you do not understand, go and make other tenses like this. That is for prescriptive in order to learn the tense. Modal verbs are clear, I guess. Okay, you already know this. You have been using it, but maybe the past tense you have not used it. So I've also mentioned these few past tenses as well with the modal verbs. Like, for example, okay, another one is this last one. You see this last 22.
Yes,
You
sir.
better had studied. Now, which type of a tense it is? Is it a present or a past?
Sir, it's a past tense.
No,
Perfect.
no. Now look at the structure. You don't, I mean, just look at the structure. Now the past perfect is the subject, the had, and the third form of the verb. You know this, right? We did it yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Now, where is the third form of the verb in this tense? Do we have a third form in this tense?
No.
No,
No, sir.
we don't have. So it is not a past perfect tense. It is a different kind of a tense, which means when you advise somebody. And in spoken form, in spoken, we omit this had. We say, you better study. So in spoken, we just omit this better, had, sorry. So it has the same meaning. So if you want to tell somebody, like give a strong advice, that, like, for example, you better stop smoking. Now, it is not about past tense. In written, we say, or in spoken, some people use it, you better had not smoke. And again, after had, this is the only tense that after had we have a first form of the verb. So after had we have a first form of the verb, there will always be this better word. So if you want to write the structure, you write it like this, that we will always have a subject, then we will have this word better, always like a helping verb. And then we will have had, and then we will have first form of the verb. So can you make another tense like this? Go and make thousands of sentences like this in order to have this structure, in order to own this structure. Otherwise, you won't be able to use it in your conversation or writing. So you had better study, you had better go there, you had better call me, like you should have, or you should call me. So I can say it in a different way. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now this structure is a different. Have you ever used this structure in your writing or spoken language?
No, sir. When we used for advice or for stressing something out, we use shall, should, or these structures.
So you should learn this structure as well. Like if you have a lot of other structure, I mean, it's better to have so many structure. So like for example, if you know other structure, uh, it will bring variety in your talking. Like you will have a different structure all the time, so people will not get bored. Or if you see this 21 structure, look at this 21 is so different. Have you ever used this one?
Yes,
This
sir. In
I
spoken,
am
we use it.
I am to call you. Now, if you want, now this is important. You have to make a structure, like for example, subject. Now, am is the helping verb, and to will always be there plus, and then first form of the verb. So can you make another tense? I am to play cricket. I am to study. I am to call you. I am to ask a question. Now this is another type of tense. I don't know whether you know it or not. So if you don't know, go and make sentences with this. Okay, so let's go. And yesterday we talked about the state sentences. Sorry, this non-standard English as well. Like I gonna be late, or I gotta go, or she has got to go. Yesterday we did it. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So sentence number 20. Look at sentence
Uh,
number 20.
okay.
That is incorrect.
I am going to buy a new car this week. No, it's not incorrect. It is
It's
again,
He
going to
am
be.
going.
yes, he
He
is.
am going to buy a new.
Sorry. Yes, that is a typo, a typing mistake. Yes, you're right.
Okay, sir.
He is. Yes. So again, if you see, this is not a continuous tense. The structure looks like continuous tense, but it is not. It is a future tense. I'm going to buy a new car this week is a future tense. Now, if you see the structure looks like a continuous tense, but here this uh, this is going is a helping verb, is a helping verb. So it's a future tense. It's not a present continuous. I hope you know this one. Okay, now the passive tense, like we can use a verb in a passive tense as well. So I'll not go into detail and teach you guys passive tenses. You can go and search it yourself because you have studied it in school or colleges. So like we'll just go quickly. Number one, if you see, his class teacher always insults him. This is the present tense. And what would be the passive? He is always insulted by his class teacher. You already know this, right? Or in the past, when
Yes.
we want to change the past, we use was. right?
Yes, sir.
So is
Yes,
or
sir.
was. So be, basically passive have a one structure, that is be means be, is or are or was or were. These are all, and then we have third form of the verb, always. So he was insulted, or he was called for the interview, or for example, the professor will be awarded. Now, all these present, future, this is called the simple passive sentence, which you have studied in schools or colleges. Okay, number fourth one, if you see, if we want to remove the subject, like this is without agent phrase. Agent phrase means without subject phrase. He is being arrested. Now, this is again a passive. So we cannot have an active. Can you make act like the first one? He is always insulted by his teacher. We can have an active as well. His teacher always insults him. But if you see this fourth number, he is being arrested. Can you make an active of this? No, you cannot do it because we don't have a subject here. So passive sentences are always used when you don't want to talk about the agent phrase or the subject. When you want to hide the subject, when you are not sure what the subject is, so you always use these passive sentences. Remember this. But here, unfortunately, we teach our students how to change every sentence into passive. We otherwise do not change every tense into passive. There are few tenses that we change into passive. And what are those tenses? When we do not have an active form, so we change it into passive. Like for example, the fourth one, see, he is being arrested. We are sure, this is already understood, that who arrests people? The police. So I don't want to mention it. The fifth one is, he was being bullied with the bullied. I was being bullied when I was a school going kid. So who bullied me? That is again already understood. My school class fellow or my school fellow. Or for example, the sixth one, he will be being investigated tomorrow. Again, it's without the subject, without the agent, so I don't want to mention it. That's why we have passive, and we do not have active for it because it doesn't have a subject. Uh, so passive, like I always give this example to people, is that and they understand this one. For example, if I say uh, this one, uh, you read it what I write, okay? Read it. Hello?
Benazir was.
Now,
Benazir was killed.
yes. Now
Benazir was.
this is a passive tense. So Benazir was killed. Now we will not write this tense in this way, that Zardari killed Benazir. Why? Because Zardari will kill you, right? Or
Yes,
you
sir.
cannot
Yes.
say that Benazir was killed by Zardari, or you're not sure whether Zardari has killed her or not. So in newspaper, you always get these kind of passive sentences when you are not sure about the subject.
Sir Ibrahim is Zardari supporter.
So that's why I didn't say Zardari killed Benazir. I said, okay, sorry, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so passive are always used when you do not have a subject, or when you're not sure about it, or sometimes it is very embarrassing to aid that subject. Everybody is here. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Okay. So you see the ninth sentence. Look at the ninth one. I am told that she is unreliable. Now here it is very embarrassing to mention the agent. Whoever told us this, we are hiding it. Like, I don't want to mention that person who told me, because when you take the name, it's a little bit embarrassing. Or the other person can mind it if you say that I was told by him, or I was told by Ali, or I was told by Zishan. Okay, now you see this 10th number sentence. He has been reading book. Now this is a present perfect continuous. And again, we can change it. A book has been being read by him, but it is again very rare kind of a sentence, so we don't use it. This one, right? Is everybody here?
Sir, what about has and
Yes, sir.
have?
No, we again, it is has, not have. That was a
Okay,
typing
sir.
mistake, sorry. Is it
It's
clear?
okay.
I'm admitting everybody. So, okay. So you have to understand this passive sentence. You already know this. I should not go into detail. Now, there are certain tenses which we already know. The anticipatory, it is already understood. Like we already know it is decided, or it was decided, or it will be decided. So we already understand this it. Or for example, another one is I did complain, but there was no action taken at the time. So there was. So there is again always there. Or for example, we use it for impersonal style, or detached, or academic style. Like for example, vitamin tablets should be taken every day or daily. Now, in these research paper, we use these passive tenses all the time. Like for example, data was collected. Now, there is no need to mention that people should take vitamins. Of course, people should take vitamins every day. We are not talking about animal. So in an academic writing, we use it impersonal, or agent phrase with the other preposition. Now, another thing is, if you see this 15th sentence, look at this 15th. Again, so if you have like we have studied these active voice, passive voice in school, and we are always told that we will use by in passive, but it's not necessarily. I mean, sometimes you can use in other preposition. Like for example, I'm covered in mud. Now, in by mud, we don't have this tense by mud. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
by is not always in the passive form. There can be other prepositions like with the mud, or I am satisfied with your lecture, not by with your lecture. So, it is this preposition is decided by the verb, that what type of a verb we have, and then accordingly we will have a preposition. So we know that satisfied takes with preposition. Or disappointed, I'm disappointed in you, or by you, or with you. Which one is correct?
In you.
In
In
you.
you.
Yes, I'm disappointed in you. That is again a passive sentence. So okay, the 17th, 18th, look at the 17th or the 18th or the 19th. So whenever you want to have a desire, like talk about desire or need, okay, or these kind of sentences, so we can have passive for it. Like for example, it needs cleaning. it should be cleaned. See, it has the same meaning. Or it needs restoring, it should be restored. Or he deserves punishment, he should be punished. Now, this is having the same kind of a meaning. So, okay. Now, another thing is we can have passive in another way with using, like when we use get, G-E-T. So get formation mostly without agent phrase. So whenever you don't want to mention the phrase, the subject or the agent phrase, we'll use not the be form, we'll use the get form, this get form. Now, this is also a passive. The fence got damaged or the fence were damaged. Now, this one is not clear if you see. The fence were damaged. Now, the fence were damaged. It's not clear whether it's a state or a dynamic event. So, a dynamic verb denotes action or event. So, we are interested in this action or event. So, when I say the fence got damaged, it is definitely damaged by someone. But in another sentence, the fence were damaged. Now, I'm just telling you that it is damaged. I'm not telling you who damaged it. I'm not interested in the event. I'm just interested in the state. So this get is also a passive form. Like this is a different way to use these passive, and mostly it is used when you don't want to mention the verb, the subject. Sorry. Do you know how much lawyers get paid? This is again a passive. Like if you want to use the be verb with it, so you will say, do you know how much lawyers are paid? We can replace it. But mostly when you don't want to mention like paid by the client, we are not talking about that. Or we found some parcels that got pushed into the corner. Now, again, this is a passive sentence. So the parcel that was or that were pushed. Or she got herself. Now, again, this one is different with a reflexive pronoun. I got myself logged out, or she got herself logged out. Or for example, when you talk about strict customs, I got my belt searched once when I went to Sweden. I got my boot polished, another example. I got my car repaired by the mechanic is not necessary. I mean, we already know, it's already understood. Or she got arrested by the Punjab police. So again, this Punjab police is not important. We don't mention it. Why? Because, are you there? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I hope you are understanding, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
This Punjab police is not necessary. Why? Because it is already understood. She got arrested. Okay, let me go. You have another class as well today, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's from 10 to 12.
10?
To 12.
Yes, sir.
So do you want to go or okay, just this one, the pseudo passive with the for have formation. So we can also have formation, but that is pseudo means that it is not genuine passive. Like Ali had his luggage searched at the airport, or we had the house painted last year. Now this is again a passive, but a different kind. I had my hair cut the day before the wedding. Now, if you want to say it in active, you will say, I had cut my hair. It means you did it. You did yourself. You just went and had a haircut is that you ask somebody to cut your hair. Or for example, do you have the there so do you do they have their car serviced regularly?
Excuse me,
Do they?
sir.
Huh?
Sir, in the first sentence, Ali had his luggage searched
Uh,
at the airport. There is also no need of at the airport because luggage is searched in the airport.
no,
Then
no, no,
why are
no,
we
no.
using it
That
here?
no, no. That is not the agent. No, no. This is not the subject. You have to understand what is the subject and what is the verb. For example, I walked on the ground. Where is the subject? I. Okay. Where
I
is the
am the
object?
subject.
Where is the object?
On the ground.
No,
Ground.
no, no,
No
On the
no.
ground.
object.
Just the
Ground.
ground.
We don't have object here. That is a prepositional phrase. So at the airport is not agent. Remember, that is just a place. Okay, remove this if you are confused about it. Now go and read it. Ali had his luggage searched. We are not saying by the people or by the police. If I use by the police, then it would be an agent. Do you get it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This at the airport is just telling us where, not by who.
Where? Okay.
Okay. So,
Got it, sir.
okay. Do they have their car serviced regularly? Again, if we want to change it into active, have they serviced their car means that they have done it themselves. But if you like, if you we cannot have an active of it. If I want to have an active, so I would say that do they ask people to service their car? It becomes very complicated. And then non causative or no intention. Like for example, my friend around the corner recently had his video stolen. Means that was not his intention. Somebody stole his video. So I'll say the person who is around that corner, somebody stole video for. So here we will always use somebody. Remember, somebody cut his hair, somebody searched his luggage, or somebody service his car, or somebody. So we'll always use somebody or somebody, like someone or somebody. So can okay, we will have that explained to us all over again at the next meeting. Now we have a direct and indirect object, and if you know that there are certain sentences with having direct and indirect object, so whenever we have a direct or indirect object, we can change those tenses in two ways. But here we cannot do that with this tense. So we will have another kind of passive that is called pseudo passive with have. Okay, and another thing is this is in mostly it is informal, like we don't use it in writing a lot, so it is informal. Get is formal, we can use it in writing, while this one we cannot use. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Okay. And these are another type of, we yesterday talked about it, so I'll just give you a brief revision kind of a thing. Not tensed or non-finite verbs. Non-finite verbs is that it is not limited by tense, person, or number. Like this, if we use he, we will be using this pointing or accompanied or to get. It does not change with the tense or a number or a person. Like for example, with he we use s or es, but here it will not work. So go and read these tenses and remember that you have to make other tenses like this. So if you can make another tense like this, for example, accompanied by his friend, he trod around the island. Now, this is a verb phrase, right? This first one, and it is a complex sentence. Or, for example, we can use it in the past aspect as well, or a future or a passive as well. So, We talked about it yesterday. I think it's 10:05. Did sir message you about the class? Hello?
Sir, he would be taking tea now. Yesterday he was taking tea at that time.
So we have time. We can let me explain it then. When he messaged you, then let me know and you will go, okay?
Okay,
Just
sir.
answer me. Okay, so look at these tenses, right? The ing form is like, for example, this non tense or finite, non-finite tense is we can have different type of sentences. Like, for example, look at this. Look at these tenses. Uh, this one. Having finished her breakfast, she pushed the plate noisily across the table, and the waitress appeared. Now, this one is giving you the past aspect. Having finished her meal. So, if we want to say it, we'll say that when she finished her breakfast, she pushed the table. So it will have always two tenses or two sentences. But if you want to write it in one complex sentence, you can have this passive form, perfect passive. Or if you see this one, he was released from prison after being pardoned by the president. So if you want to say it, this will become very different. Like, for example, he was released from the prison when the president pardoned him, or having been asked a few times before to do it and said no, I cannot say no this time. So again, this is a passive and a perfect. It gives you a sense, a passive perfect sense. Or for example, ed, if you see these ed sentences or past participle, we can use it with past participle. To be forced to leave, these are complex sentences. Remember, we'll be doing it in when I explain these conjunctions or clauses or sentences. That will be cleared. But you should just go and read these sentences and make other sentences like this, because it is a complex sentences. Like, for example, having written so many letters, that this one, okay, having written so many letters and got not got an answer, I'm not sure it is worth writing another one. So if you want to say it in a simple sentence, you will say that I have written so many letters and I did not get any answer. So I'm not sure whether I should write another letter or not. But this is another structure which is very beautiful. See, you can start. Okay, another thing is that if you know these structures, these passive or active in a different way, you can start a sentence with different words. Now, if in school or college, we were told by our teacher that do not use this noun all the time. So we were taught how to use he or she or it. We were always told that we can use he or she for a noun. Like, for example, if you write an essay about Qadyazam and you say Qadyazam was a great person or Qadyazam was very hardworking. So if you keep on saying Qadyazam, people get bored. So now when you say Qadyazam was a great person, he was a great leader, he was this or he was that, people will again get bored because you're using this pronoun again and again and again. So when you have these structures, you can start a sentence with another word. Like sometimes you can start a sentence with ing, start a sentence with ed, start a sentence with to and first form of the verb or third form of the verb. Is it clear? Like, for example,
Yes,
to
sir.
be deprived
Yes, sir.
of even 1 hour of sleep was another step towards total collapse. Or to pass this exam, you need to work hard. Like, you need to work hard to pass this exam. You can say it like, for example, see this one, look at this sentence. If you change it the other way, you need to work hard to pass this exam. So again, you started a sentence with a pronoun. So you just go and start writing or speaking. You will always use this pronoun. I did this, you did this, or it did this, or it happened, or this happened. It will be a little bit difficult for you to start a sentence with another word. So when you have the structure, it will bring variety in your writing. Okay.
Indeed.
So this catenative verbs, you should go and read. This one is very simple. There are certain verbs that takes another verb. See, it's very interesting. I mean, look at this one. Let is a verb and go is a verb. So then there are these verbs that they always take another verb after a verb. Like, for example, I want to play. So it sometimes can be to infinitive or ing or third form of the verb or first form of the verb. Like, for example, let go of me. So after let is a verb, go is a verb. So catenative verbs are those kind of verbs which takes another kind of verb after the main verb. Like, and another thing is, like, for example, stop will always take ing form, and want will always take infinitive, to or first form of the verb. So the verb will decide that after it, we will have ing form of the verb or first. Not every verb does that. Few verbs, remember. So I stopped smoking. I will not say I stopped to smoke. If you say I stopped to smoke, means that you were walking and then you stopped and you lit the smoke. Do you understand this? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Look, it changes the whole meaning. So there are certain verbs that after those verbs we will always have ing. So what you need to go and read and find these kind of verbs. Like, for example, enjoy. I enjoy watching movies. So enjoy, after enjoy we can have ing. Or, for example, admit. I've already given you a list. If you go and read later at the end, I've given you the list where we can use uh, these forms. Okay, let me show you. But don't go for the shortcuts. Remember, you have to go and read in the context. Like, for example, this one. Look, this is a list. So after these verbs we will use ing, and after this word we will use to and first form of the verb. For example, uh, I admit lying to him. So I appreciate going there, or I avoid smoking in public places, or I cannot help crying, or I consider. So after all these verbs, we can have ing form, and after on this side, we have verbs that after it we use to and first form of the verb. For example, I agree to, or I cannot afford to buy this. Or, for example, he appears he appears to be smart. Or, for example, I asked to go there, or I asked to call him, or attempt, or choose, or I decided to go to America. Or here I can say I enjoy watching movies, or I enjoy playing cricket, or I finished working on my assignment, or I gave up smoking, or I imagine seeing her. Okay. Do you want to ask me questions because you have class? So, oh, and then another, the last one is these phrases. Okay, phrasal verbs are very important as well. So you should learn these as well. Like for example, run into someone. This is a phrasal verb which gives you a different meaning. Can anybody tell me run into someone means? Huh?
Sir, to go for something.
No.
So
When you meet somebody by chance, like for example, yesterday I went to university and I ran into my school friend. Like I did not plan to meet him, or we didn't decide to go there and meet. I just by chance saw him, or come across is also the same meaning. Like I came across this book yesterday in a library that I was just searching other books, and then I came across this very interesting book, or get towards someone. So you have to, you have done this, right? You know about phrasal verbs. So if you have a lot of phrasal verb, it will be easy for you to communicate or convey your message effectively. Huh. Did sir message you? Did Sir Ashir message you?
Yes, sir. He called me some 10 minutes ago.
Okay, okay. So you can go and read it. I will send you this as well because in this we have these passive as well. And then you go and read it and ask me question in the group. So when I answer, everybody learns there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Okay,
you
sir.
so much. See
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Khudafis.
Allah
Khudafis.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.